Perfect. All right.
Okay.
So this is Meredith Scarlett from Scarlett Hill Equestrian Center, and she just had us up for a clinic at her farm. She had 5 questions that she felt were the most asked questions about our program, or theories, or skepticisms, or negative comments. And after having a clinic here, we just sat her down and said, hey, what do you think these answers are? First, she said she thought that there was no way we could train muscle memory. Meredith, how do we fix that for you?
I thought when I heard about this clinic first that there was no way to fall often enough to get it into muscle memory to actually learn how to do it. And after having taken the clinic and watched people do the clinic, I was very wrong. After 50 rolls, I was really tired, but it was certainly in muscle memory. I also thought that you couldn't replicate the experience of falling off of a horse, because I'd heard for years that people should learn to fall off horses, but I said you can't learn to fall off horses, you can just learn to tumble on a mat, and that's not useful. You can learn how to fall off a horse using this wonderful horse behind us. It's amazingly easy to replicate the experience. A lot of my students, after taking it today, they said, oh, I felt that feeling before. And when they feel that feeling now, they have a place to go as opposed to a feeling of desperation.
Meredith, that's great. Thank you very much. You thought the simulator was lifelike or active enough to create that.
Yeah.
The other question you had asked was, some of your students, some of your people thought they might be more likely to fall off or to bail off if they took this course. How do you respond to that now?
It's interesting because after having taken it, I described it to a lot of students as a clinic in how to fall off and how to stay on. Because I feel that after I rode the simulated buck a lot of times, that I understood my capacity to take a buck better, or take a rear, or the place to go during a rear, so it didn't become a rear that I had to get off of. So I think that I am much more likely to stay on now than I would have been before I took the clinic.
Excellent. Those are great answers. Thanks so much. How about, what do your students think? They thought it was going to be scary. Some of them said that they were too scared to do it. They didn't know what was going to happen. How would you answer to somebody that thinks it's a scary program?
I think a lot of people, when we talk about falling, we talk about, oh, the time I fell off and hurt myself, the time I fell off and got a concussion, and we get this group speak about how scary the experience is of falling, and we think about falling and obsess about falling. And I certainly have a lot of students, particularly adults, who obsess about falling. And I was very afraid that if we took this clinic, we would be very dark, it would be a little depressing, we'd talk about terrible falls, we'd talk about rotational falls, and it would make everyone more uncomfortable and more likely to think about those things. And instead I had a ridiculously fun, hysterical, silly, laughing time. It was physically fun, it was intellectually fun, and it definitely made a game out of ways that you controlled your body and trained your body as opposed to something that created a lot of fear in us.
Now, Meredith, I have one more question for you. We've heard about the cost. Some people think it's cost prohibitive or it's not worth the value, it's too much money. After going through the course and after having your students go through the course, how do you feel that equates to other things that you may do, lessons, shows, all the other things that are involved in owning a horse? How do you think this all correlates in the value?
We do a lot of clinics here. They cost about what this clinic does. People take a lot of lessons. In a couple of weeks, they can rack up a bill that's the same cost as this clinic. This is a skills clinic. You learn how to carry yourself on a horse and falling off a horse. Other skills that I've learned were a lot more expensive. I paid a hell of a lot more to learn how to do a half halt. I paid a lot of money to learn how to do a drop. I paid a lot of money to learn how to gallop at speed. I paid a lot of money to learn how to braid my horse. I paid a lot of money for a lot of things, but to learn how to do something that affects my safety, it was very easy to spend this money. And when I'm advising parents, when they get concerned, I say, this is the easiest money you can spend. It directly affects your child's safety. It directly affects your safety. And if you're not willing to spend the amount of one horse show on learning how to keep yourself safe, that is unreasonable.
Meredith, I want to thank you a lot. Meredith's farm is here in Groton, Massachusetts. She does lessons from beginners to advanced. It's a beautiful farm. If you're in the area, stop by, have a lesson, do a cross-country school. And Meredith, we want to thank you a lot from LandSafe Reducing Rider Risk. Thank you very much.
There you go. I should have put on my professional thing.
No, that was super.
Yeah.